welcome. Let's go ahead and get started with roll call.
All right, we have present Taylor, Beth, Dottie, Judith, Trish, Janice, myself, Chief Ellis. Absent is Alex, Rick, Jan, Rob, and Councilman Franklin. Guest is Stephen Bent.
Thank you. Visitor comments, Stephen.
It's Stefan.
Stephen, sorry.
That's okay. So I was here, I was here a couple months ago to talk about a project that I was going to try and push with some reclaimed cement lampposts. I've met with a few people. I talked offline with Rick. I don't know if he's online or not yet. But he's got some contacts for me to work with. I keep pushing and pushing and I'm not hearing anybody say no yet. So I'm just gonna keep going. Today, well, I was going to make some appointments with the Director of City Planning and shoot, what was the other, Public Works? Is that the other one? What am I thinking of? I have notes.
Probably.
There's two or three people. I came up, anyway, I was gonna talk with them and see what restrictions I'm gonna have to work in, as far as like where we can put them, public safety. I don't know what I don't know, so I'm gonna let him tell me that and continue from there. I wanted to show up and give you just a heads up that I'm still going with this, and I'm wondering, and I don't know this, my next step is to take some pictures or drawings or a demo to places along Lockwood just to start with and see their interest with it. I don't want to seem like a scammer going to all these offices and saying, hey, I'm wondering if I have any, if I can say that the city is also looking at this, or if I can use some sort of inclusion to give myself a little bit of well, I guess I don't know. Do you recognize this project? Is that something that you guys need to formally?
Well, yeah.
You know, and David, maybe can you weigh in on what our, you know, I think a lot of things that this commission does are outside of normal.
Yeah.
So we're not sure if there's a protocol or not. Is there a process or procedure or how do we approach this?
So I missed the first part of that. Can you repeat? It was a little low in volume for me. Can you say that again, sir?
Sure, no problem. I'm more or less just asking if when I go to these businesses with whatever.
Can you explain?
Oh, sure. David, were you here at the meeting when I talked about this lamppost project that I was going to do?
Yeah, behind Eden Seminary, you found him?
Yes. So I'm going to keep pursuing it. And I've got more contacts that I need to make, but I guess my question here was to update you, or the purpose why I'm here is to update you and then also ask, should I be looking for any kind of formal acknowledgement of this project? Can I tell people that I've been working with the city to get this project down the line? Am I making?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Sure.
obviously it would need to, especially if we're going to put this on public land, it would need to go to council, like have approval from this commission and then go to council for approval. And obviously the other departments, police, fire will need to weigh in. And then also funding will also be an issue, but I see no reason. I mean, obviously if the Arts Commission's interested in pursuing this, then they can give you the green light. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it will get final approval or that you will get funding, if that makes sense.
Totally understand that. This is still way at the beginning, but like I said, nobody said no, so I'm going to keep pushing.
Absolutely. I think it sounds like a great idea. It really does. I like the ingenuity and the innovativeness of it.
And one thing that you might want to be aware of is we've been talking about having different roundtables with different groups, which we have not done in the past, just to build connections, collaboration, and find out what people want. We plan to be starting them. One of the items on our agenda today is how we want to start those. one of the areas that we want to approach is building relationships with the different business districts. So, I don't know how quickly you, wanted to move, or when you want to talk, but perhaps we can have our discussion and then get back with you on where we stand with short-term businesses, and
Yeah,
then we
sure.
can, do we have your contact info?
I can make sure that you do.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, that's
You're
fine.
wanting to move, and I don't want to hold you back.
Well,
We're,
right now, I have nothing to show anybody, so that's my next step is to say, this is what we want to try and do.
Uh-huh.
So I'm looking for photographers, photoshoppers, sketch artists, just to kind of give me a few things that I can use, and I don't have those yet.
Is the idea for the businesses to kind of like adopt one of these and decorate it according to like their?
So the way it's in my head right now, and it's gonna change, I'm sure, a million times, is basically go to a business and say, we want to put some art out in Webster Groves. We're gonna use these lamp posts. I can give you an artist and a crew of people, and we can set you up with a basic form. And if you want to decorate it, we'll decorate it for you. We'll install it for you. But basically get them together with an artist and then let the artist be an artist. And then that's the idea. Like the cakes around St. Louis
Yeah.
or the, you know,
very cool.
bowls on Broadway.
Mhm.
They're just sitting there free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want them to sit there anymore. So
Can we get something in writing to us about what you're doing? Because right now everything's kind of
sure.
verbal.
Yeah,
It'd
no
be
problem.
really helpful to, and if you have a sense of a timeline.
I don't.
I mean,
I
even
don't-
if it's like
yeah.
from April to June, I might get this. This is my goals. Your goals. How about your goals for time?
I don't know how long it would take to put one together. I've never done any kind of project like this before.
But it might help you get around.
Would you mind writing down your contact information and giving it to us, and then we could maybe follow up with a
Yeah.
line conversation.
That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then also, if we move forward, this should be an agenda item rather than a public
Okay.
comments. and
Yeah.
stuff. It's more.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was
Yeah,
gonna keep doing
yeah.
that, so.
Sure,
Well, it's all new.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all new.
It's pretty.
I think process wise, it's come to the commission with the idea,
Mhm.
with some. As many details as you have, costs,
Yeah.
time, those kind of things, and then the commission will discuss if that's something to support.
Sure, sure.
And then take it to council, and council will have questions, and then there's an exchange there. Approval from council.
I want to make sure everybody who knows about it is gonna know about it. Before I didn't wanna,
Sure.
now I'm ready.
Good.
I'm ready to tell everybody and say, hey, I need an artist. So
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. But timeline wise,
Well, it can be
I would like to,
generalized.
I would like to know if it's actually
do
gonna get, well, I'd like an artist and
Yeah.
and some work to start before I can tell you how long it's gonna take. Ideally, by the end of the year.
Okay, well, that's
I'll
a
know.
goal.
Yes, it's a goal, and I'll write something up and make sure that we send it.
Great.
Thank you, Steve.
It's perfect.
Thanks for your time.
Very interesting.
Yeah, yay.
Yeah.
Minute approval. Does everybody have the minutes? Did anybody have any changes or edits to the minutes?
I'll move to approve them.
Okay, we have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposition, motion carried. Minister approved. New business, Burr Oak concert request. This is a request that came through, just after our last meeting, actually. There is a group at the, guess it's at, Burr Oak area. Anyway, they've been doing a concert, the Baroque Burr Oak concert. For the past several years, this will be their 5th year that they are putting on this concert. The letter that came in was I'm writing to the support of Webster Groves Parks and Recreation Department of Webster Arts. We are planning the Burr Oaks concert on the same second Friday of July this year as we have in the past. Second Friday of July this year, falling on July 11th. We've received verbal approval from our neighbors and to have this in the neighborhood been supportive. The entire cost of the program is anticipated to be 11,000 in expenses. They've already raised 3,075 neighbors. They received a $1,900 sponsorship from Jackson Pianos. So she said they're about halfway there. In the past, we have given them their support in that we are able to, as a commission, support this new folks too. We're able to support 2 public events a year. And that means that, by giving our approval, the city will provide stanchion support, et cetera, without their having to pay for that. So last year, we've done that. I suppose we've done that part for 5 years. I looked last year, they're also asking for our city support. They're also asking if we would provide some monetary support. Last year, we gave them $1,400. The year before that, we gave them $1,800. Right now, we have 4,500 remaining on our fiscal 25 budget. However, and one reason I pulled this up into new and old business back is whatever we spend on this is not money we'll be able to spend towards the Jerry Welch sign. So we can do both if we think we can raise more with Jerry Welch, but I just wanted to, she was asking if we could give monetary support and sponsorship of this so they can have the city services.
Did she have a specific ask?
She just asked for monetary support. So.
I definitely think we should support it with city services. I think it's, they
Absolutely.
do so much just on their
That's so
own.
great.
Yeah, and it's really beautiful. And I would support funding, giving it some funding as well. I do think that probably funding for Jerry's sculpture could be raised throughout the community but funding for this might not be as moment.
Right. Yeah, it's a great community event. They're fabulous. And I think it's great that we've supported in the past, and I would agree completely to continue. And I do think we'll be able to raise the money for Jerry's sculpture sign.
Yeah. Actually, I see that Walter and Margot Parker are online, zooming in, so thank you. Do we have a recommendation on a support level? Again, last year we gave 1,400, 2 years ago we gave 1,800.
I would recommend 1,400. That would bring our budget down to 3,000 about.
So we'd have to raise a little bit more for the next portion. Does anybody have any further discussion on that? That's good. So we have a motion to make this one of our city sponsorships for services and to contribute $1,400 from the arts budget. We have, so that's the motion of this meeting. If we're going to get, I guess, make the motion, or make that motion. Do we have a second? Yep.
All in favor? You seconded? Oh, I didn't.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. And thank you, Walter and Margot, for all that you're doing.
It's a great project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. You guys have been supportive of this since the beginning, and we really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks for putting it on. Next, this is very brief. I won't take up much time, but the Webster Arts Fair is coming up. Well, I sent something out asking, I think in the past, I don't know if it was done last year, in the past, the Arts Commission has worked together to man a beer shift. You look for things.
Scenes of my youth past.
So just wanted to know if there is any interest in doing that together, and if there is, I have times that are available.
What is the date of it?
The dates that are available are Saturday the 7th or Sunday the 8th. And
Of June.
of June. The spots that are available are 2:30 to 5:30 on Saturday, 5:30 to 9 on Saturday, 11:45 to 2:30 on Sunday, and 2:30 to 5 on Sunday. If there are enough of us to make it worthwhile, I will sign this up. not, and that this is not a council vote, so.
I would love to do it. I might be out of town, so
Okay.
I can't commit, but if it happens, I will join, but
Okay.
I don't know that I can, so.
All right.
I could do Saturdays.
Okay, Saturday, so
Over to 2:30.
it must, can I shoot for 2:30? Actually, I'll send something out to everybody.
Yeah.
And get everybody's input on what we do. So that was good. None of us just wanted to bring that up.
So it's the sixth, seventh, and eighth.
It's the sixth, seventh, and eighth. The sixth, that Friday night it's gone. It's sucked up by people.
It doesn't sound like the fun, yeah,
So, Friday night is
a little crazy.
Yeah. Next actual business item, budget submission. We submitted a budget of 26.4 so that we could afford to do some public art. And, we were approved for exactly the amount that we've had this year, as was every single, commission, except for, the old budget, or the old, the business development, commission received a $1,000 increase. Every other commission received the same amount of money as they had last year.
I'm sorry, so what were we given?
So we were given, what did they say? Oh, recommended, F-25 level funding, F-25 level, was, 5,900. So we've got the same budget that we had this year.
Janice, I just wanna clarify that the budget hasn't been approved. It will be
Oh, I'm sorry.
June 1st. So I don't see any reason why anyone's gonna submit an amendment to change the Arts Commission's funding. So I don't see it changing. I just want to make sure that you're aware that it hasn't necessarily yet been fully approved.
Okay, thank you, David. So I guess this news for us is that, I think we can go ahead with everything we want to do. We'll just have to raise money for, a regard. Yep. See, sculpture garden descriptive plaques. This was brought up last time. Judy, you were asking status of the descriptive plaques.
Right.
Chief Ellis was able to get the invoice from last year, so I called the company to see what happened. Apparently, the quote was approved, but it was lost in the transition of staff. So it was never done. So,
The staff of our staff or their staff?
our staff, we had several staff changes. So, but since it was so my concern was, okay, does that take money away from what we're able to do this year? But since it was lost in the transition, the city is actually having it rebid, and they are going to pick up the cost of that without affecting our budget. So Chief Ellis, do you know, if it has been rebid or what the status is of that?
So I was putting together 3 different bids to submit for the city to have that information in front of them.
So the hope is we can still get it done before the sign is put up. But yeah, so the city is picking that up, which is really nice of them.
Right?
Yeah, Jerry Welch Sculpture Garden sign funding. One thing that we found with a couple of items is that, well, we asked if we could go ahead and submit the quote to get the signage begun. But it's basically come back, the city said, we'll start it as soon as you have the money. So we've got to raise the money first. They want to make sure that the money is there. So we met, Judy and I met to talk about fundraising and our suggestion. And we sent something to both David and to Chief Ellis, was to print a small invitation to participate in fundraising. Put a visual of the sign on the front of a card, and inside, actually I have copies of what we were suggesting. I don't know if it was copy was approved. But inviting people to participate in donation but to make it worthwhile, really have everybody write a handwritten note. Instead of it just going out, but personal please, thinking about sending it to everybody on Webster Arts, people who have been on this council in the past, some of the people that we know are generally large funders for the city. In looking at it, and I need to put in the donation website. When I went to the old donation website, if you recall last time, there was information in there about it being tax deductible, and of course, it is not. So when I went to the website, that entire donation page was gone. By the time I went back, I asked Brett and David if it could go back, and by that time it already was up, but without the information about saying it was tax deductible, just saying basically could be, might not be, you need to talk to your tax advisor. So there is a public art fund page still, where a donation can be made, because the concern was that if people can't make a donation online, they may not make it.
Oh, yeah.
So the page is there. We need to link to it. I just wanted people to talk about, whether they think this is a good idea. Find out from you, Brett, and David, whether this is something that city has any issue with.
I think the one detail is that with the 1,400 going to the borough concert, that changes that number.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It does.
so that will.
I would recommend, can Webster Arts be willing to accept donation amounts that we know would be tax deductible, and hold these so that we'll, set up a fund? Would we want to come up with an agreement with the Webster Arts? What is it called? With Webster Arts, to see if they would be willing to house the funds.
Because they're the 501c3.
And then it would be a tax deductible donation that way, we know for sure. And we could come up with some agreement with them. Maybe they could, if there's an additional cost for holding that money to them, then give them, work out an agreement as part of that fundraising effort.
That's a great idea.
Do they have regular meetings where one of us could go and
Just
talk
Yeah,
to
they
them
do.
about it?
They
Yeah,
do.
so,
They do.
and then we could kind of like make the appeal that way too and talk to them about housing.
I can certainly talk to Patrick about that.
To say those members seem pretty connected to Jerry too, so I would imagine.
They
they-
are. They are.
Well, Sherry's part of it.
She is.
So-
Jerry's on.
I want her to know.
So Jerry right now is on the arts.
I believe she's treasurer, so that could be a little awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
You know what?
Denied.
Take it on, I'll take it. I mean, you also, we don't wanna,
I mean,
no, but, that could be, I don't wanna speculate, but it could be an image issue too, like,
yeah,
we're
if they're
asking them to
yeah.
fundraise for it, so it's something to be aware of. Right.
Is there anyone on the commission that's part of Webster Arts?
Well, I asked Patrick, who's their president, if he knew of anybody. He said he would apply. He said he has applied.
Okay.
But I haven't seen anything, so I will follow up and find out. Yeah.
Is that relationship?
Yeah.
Do you know if that's come up, David, at all at city council?
No, I don't think we have any openings on the Arts Commission currently, and that's maybe part of it, but I will follow up with our city clerk to see where we stand on membership and also Patrick's application.
And
Thank you.
since according to our bylaws, or the way we're organized, we are supposed to have a Webster Arts person. So if we've been holding because of that, could we temporarily add one member?
Yeah,
As we-
I mean, I'm always willing to skirt that kind of stuff because I think it makes sense, but
Yeah.
our city attorney might tell me no.
But the thing is, it's in writing that we're supposed to have a Webster Arts representative.
Yeah.
So because of that,
Yeah, I think you're making a good point, Janice. Let me talk to both the city attorney and the city clerk and see exactly where we stand on that and see what's going on. I was just looking at our agenda tonight and I don't see that Patrick's on it. So it must either we did not receive it or something happened, but I will follow up and see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it maybe could be temporary. I mean, I will be stepping down once we finish the sculpture garden, so there will be an opening then.
so the goal then is, does everybody agree that I should first speak with Patrick, see if we can, and it would be kosher for us to operate if we ask them to raise money for us, and then I guess would the contribution then come from Webster Arts or?
No, we would still do our fundraising effort, but the money would go to, we would need to have an agreement in place saying that, yes, they agree to hold these funds and, they may have a hopefully nominal fee associated with holding those funds. And then it would be a tax, and it would be purposed specifically for this. And then we would need to get with the city, like how things like this have been paid for in the past. Would the invoice go directly to Webster Groves, and then Webster Arts would pay the city of Webster Groves at the end of the fundraising campaign, whatever is available.
Okay. And with that though, if there's more than we need, then we would also obviously want that to come into our public art fund.
Yeah, so then that would also have to be identified specifically, because if we'd say, and it's like, yeah, just any agreement, there would need to be lawyers involved in coming to an official agreement. Just, we're all friends, but we'll just want to make sure that that we have a paper trail showing what the money is going to and what any leftovers could be used for.
What's the difference in amount of money that you think you need to raise?
Well, $4,500 plus $1,400, so what is it? About $6,000. Roughly six, so, and if we, I don't think that's gonna be difficult. I think that people would give it in an instant.
What was the
Yeah.
total? I thought it was around, was it 11
15,000,
or 15?
Yeah.
So where's the other money?
Well, what we're getting is, see,
There was already like 5,000 earmarked for signage, right?
there's 5,000 earmarked for signage. We had money left in our budget, and there was $1,900 left in the public art fund. So if we.
$1,300.
Excuse me, $1,300. So, if we aggregated all of that, we only needed before about 4,500 to see our goal.
So now we're at, so 13 for public, in the public art fund, 5,000 dedicated to signage. And then now we're at 3,000 in our remaining budget.
If I remembered in the minutes or discussed one a couple meetings ago, basically what was every penny that was left between the two accounts was for the 50% down payment.
What I was,
That's now gone down.
yeah, what we had, this is from, Marie Peoples. $4,500 was unspent in the 25 budget. The city committed an additional $5,000.
But now it's 3,000.
Right. The city, committed, $5,000 towards the sign, and the public art, account had, $1,392. So totally before this decision we just made to, award money to, Borough, we had 10,892 available. So at the time we needed to raise 4,500. We just approved donating or awarding $1,400 to Burr Oak, so that would mean that we have 5,900 to raise.
And 9,392.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
This is
That's how
3,000.
much we have. And
Oh,
then
that's how much we have.
The cost of the
Alright.
sign is
Yeah.
15,300, so it is about 6,000.
Yeah.
Exactly.
15,300.
15,358 and 28 cents. So it's like $6,058, $59. I mean, I don't know in terms of like if for a smaller amount like that, I mean, tax deductible is nice, but it might not be.
A single person could make that donation, and to make it worthwhile, get the tax,
That's true. Yeah.
you know,
Just, yeah.
so.
Yeah, any more than one person would be like, well, what's
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we want to try fundraising this way, just this way first? Cause we do not get a tax deduction for our donations every year. I don't
Standard
know.
deductions, but yeah.
so. Do
Is
we-
this a mailer is the plan?
the goal, the idea would be to have them printed, again, with an image of the sign on the front. Mail it out to a select group and have it include current and past Webster Arts members, current and past Webster Commission members.
Posting it on our website.
Yeah, posting on the website would be great. Maybe even getting it, well, posted on the Webster Arts website, although Jerry would be seeing it, but at some point she will.
Yeah.
And then there's some larger donors that we know of here. We
Yeah,
would
the
approach them
people
as
that
well.
help donate money for the art that's actually there.
Yeah.
I don't, where do we get those names though?
Katie has-
Katie Nakazano should have a list of those.
Mhm.
So. And honestly, if we put it out and we get more than we need, that's a great start for the Public Art Fund. So, do we want to wait and see if we can do something with Webster Arts, or we just?
It would slow us down.
I think just maybe go ahead and
Okay.
start, since I just.
Okay,
But it's something to keep in mind, especially once we have the Webster Arts person on the board to think about an official
yeah, that would be a good
Extra.
idea.
agreement.
So this would need to be updated to reflect
To the new,
about 6,000. And
Yeah.
then does there need to be any verbiage, just a suggestion that obviously in bold, this is going toward Jerry Welch signage, but any amount above would be contributing to the new art initiatives.
Fund,
Public
well,
art.
and that's in the second paragraph. And so I will get our donation site, and, if anybody has, I need to get the, artwork getting from Rick. I tried mocking something up and I just couldn't get it onto the page. So, Kelly, you can have a whiz, maybe if I can get Rick to send something to us, could you?
Sure,
It's
excellent.
like, I couldn't pull that off the PDF, so.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get with you with Rick, maybe we can get this on.
So the cost of mailing, is that something we have space for in our current?
Or you can just-
I'll get us
Just
stamps.
put the bill for the mailing, they'll be appreciated.
Thank you.
Get us stamps. And I've just been taking things to a little place locally, they turn things around quickly, so we can work together.
Are they in Webster?
They're not, they're in the city, so well-known business, most of them do much, great. But when we get the list together, I mean, I've got a list, and I'll ask if he has others. I'd like to send, I really think it will be important to send, personalized notes. So what I'll do is I'll send the list to, everybody and see if people can pick off names of people that they know. So that this will be a little bit more effective for sure. Okay.
Do we have, can I ask one question? I think at one point the website or the web page went to a PayPal account, you found that? So is that PayPal account active or do we need to change the account? Like how are people actually submitting that online?
I didn't actually go through, but David and Brett, can you say that the page is back? The page is back, so if we go to that, what is it? The
There,
donation page is back.
if the page is back, then there's a PayPal link that may or may not still say Barber Park specifically on it.
Okay.
But that's all it says, and then theoretically, it sounded like what you were saying is that they removed language about this is tax deductible because it's not,
Right,
which is great.
There's something called GovTeller. So
Just need to make sure somebody still has access to that, to all the
Yes.
turnover. Like,
Yeah.
can anyone access that account? Yeah.
sorry.
So I
Public
think if you go to the public art fund, you still have the tax deductibility. I forget what the donate button is though.
And then it goes to this thing,
Ah,
GovTeller.
Just figuring out who is able to
Oh,
know
donate.
where that money goes and where, like, how to pull it.
Oh, so now it's through our city. This is how you pay like parking tickets and everything. So this is the formal way of doing it.
okay.
Okay. Well, that's good. And then just making sure that, can we just affirm that this will be tagged for the specific public art fund so that it's not
Is there a
used?
drop down box to identify where you're sending your money to from that?
Yeah, let me show.
It's public art fund.
Donate. Yeah, you have to select the public art fund transaction.
Two birds with one stone.
Yeah, you have to, the
So
payee
indicate somewhere.
just select public art fund. Donate, it says donations : public art fund,
okay, we'll change this to,
to have those instructions. Actually, a QR code. Can we just do it?
Unfortunately, we can't have the auto that, we can really hard to pay. Oh, yeah, yeah, no.
We want to add a QR code to it. We want to add a QR code to this letter as well, which we'll get to.
Okay, job.
QR codes.
Basically,
Okay.
so you can make a Word document to a PDF. To your point about the PayPal fees and getting access to that money, do we know, is that?
I can follow this.
Okay.
The question is who has access to that in the city?
Yep.
Okay, anything else on raising money? And I should have put this on the agenda, and actually I didn't, because I thought we were finished with it when we set the agenda. But it is related to needing to have the money in hand first before we spend anything. Banners. We got approval for the banners. The book came through, it had to be approved by the city as well. Thought we could just go ahead and send it, and it came in far less than we thought. It was only $1832, far less than the $5,000 that Michael Silverman had agreed to spend up to. And part of it, I think, was because we thought there were as many as 60 banners. There are actually only 26. So we got that approved, but when we saw the final quote, sent a note to Michael Silverman asking him to, tell me what the quote was, asking if we send a check. We would order the banners. So do you know if this check has arrived? He sent me a note saying that he would send it immediately.
I wouldn't know that, I would assume go to finance, but I
Okay.
could ask.
Yeah, if you
Get
can
with
ask,
them
say
and
it's-
ask the Silverman checks.
And then as soon as that check is in, I have the flash drive. And I'll take that over to Fast Sons. As soon as we get, so we have to, the city has to have the money in hand and then we can spend it. So we just have to remember that's the process. It's been interesting because when we were figuring out how do we proceed with this, since we, who has to sign the quote, since somebody is paying for it, but it's for the city. So it's a new process. But I think we figured it out now. Anything else on the sign or what we pay for?
Let's make sure that we have it on the agenda just to next week,
Yes.
next month, just to
Make
make
sure
sure the,
Definitely.
And I always email, what do you want the agenda to
Yeah.
look like before I build it? So if y'all ever have stuff, obviously reach out.
I was just thinking we were beyond that, and we're not. So,
Janice, can I get a copy of that artwork file from you?
yes, yeah. And we'll do this as well.
Like, can you send us all, everybody what the end product looks like? Because we went through so many different states. I mean, before you even came on board, we went through so many different stages on trying to figure out what.
Well, this is City of the Arts banners.
I know.
Oh,
We were
and we
just doing the
did,
same
but
ones.
we're just
What?
doing, we're doing the exact same ones.
Oh, we're
After all
reprinting the same, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. We went through,
Months ago.
we went through that's what I thought. I almost thought we finished it. I thought we were like, I thought we weren't gonna do anymore or something like that.
Okay. Achievement in the Arts nomination form. Taylor, do you wanna?
yeah, the form is live and it has all of the things that we want. So it exists as a link on the Arts Commission page of the website, and then also it's its own standalone link, so we can QR to it on whatever we want. So now the question is, where do we send it and how? So I know that there's like a variety of email lists for the city and things like that that people sign up for. How do we utilize those communication channels? And maybe also it makes sense to just send out to our own channels. Here's an email. Can you send it to your people to collect nominations?
I think it should definitely go to Webster Arts. And perhaps they can put it on their website.
And you're Patrick. Do you want to send it then, or do you want me to send? Up to you. I'm not connected to that.
I didn't hear what you said.
I'm happy to send it to whoever. I just need to be
We need to connect with the communications person in the city, if we can go on like the Friday page, or if they're doing newsletters or things like that, I forget her. So
Tiara.
Yeah, make sure that she has that information.
Or we were thinking about sending something to Webster University at some point. I mean,
Yeah, we should
I
definitely,
mean, we could put it on one of their, like, their arts page of their arts.
I think even putting in like Community Connect and
Yeah.
like the community connections.
Rich, would you be willing to write a short, PR piece explaining what this is and talking about it so we can send the link out?
Sure.
And then,
Did we send out the first one?
I don't think we did we didn't have
Since
it
we were
online.
waiting.
Yeah.
I mean, I could revise that. The only thing that was outstanding from that was the date that we were gonna release it.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I was confused as to if we, the Arts Commission, we're supposed to send that out, or is it gonna go through the city with the communications?
So if you have something that you want on the Friday page, a little blurb, you can send it to me and I'll email
Okay.
it, and then they'll integrate that into the Friday page.
So when we.
I don't know, it may not be that week unless it's time sensitive, but
Yeah.
Right.
so you send me what you want
I
out
mean, we
there.
could make it, yeah.
So that way it's the same message, whether it's through WebView or whether it's through the Friday.
So in addition to that larger press release.
Right.
The smaller blurb.
Like a smaller blurb.
Which is
Okay.
probably what the city would use, probably what Webster Arts would use.
Okay.
Even on
Okay.
the banners. with-
Then I'll
So-
do like two different versions. But like, who sends it out to the media? Is it Webster, City of Webster Communications?
When you say media,
So Webster Kirkwood Times, the Post Dispatch,
I don't
isn't
believe
that
they
like their communications person?
couldn't answer that, but I don't believe they would do that.
Okay,
I mean, I think in the past, we've just really contacted the Times ourselves, like most things, it's
Okay.
been like listings, and you can submit listings online to the Times, but we could just like email the editor and just be like, hey, do you have a place, to promote
Okay.
this?
okay,
They haven't always, I mean, like done any stories on this, but there might be like a announcement section where they could put it in.
So it would be cool if, even for the banners with Mr. Silverman, a little blurb about that. And then, the image, and that can be something I could send to the city and they could put it Friday page. And that's shared on the official Facebook page for the city, which can be shared on Community Connects as well.
Actually,
If somebody shares that, right?
yeah, once we get the new banners up, it would be really nice to say, hey, has anybody noticed that they're fresh? And then,
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah,
say,
so that's an
at that
example.
time,
Great,
that's a
great.
really good idea.
If there's something you want out, just send it to me and I'll get it.
so someone from the city posts on Community Connect.
No,
I think they posted on the
The
city
city's
Facebook
page.
page, and then we could share it,
Oh,
anyone
got
could
it,
share it
got
to
it,
any of
okay.
our groups.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I can just revise what we have.
And then we can link it to.
And when you share that with the board, I'll also send it to, the Webster Grove School District Board.
Okay.
And they'll, because then maybe within the school district channels, they can
I
share
can
it
reach
there.
out to Jamie too at the Webster Kirkwood Times. I know her. So
Yeah.
I'll just send her the release directly.
so it sounds like Trish is gonna take the lead on getting the link pushed out. That's all right.
Say that again.
Are you gonna take the lead on getting that link pushed out? You'll do the blurb and send it to everybody who.
I'll send it to the Webster Kirkwood Times. I can also send it to the art departments at Webster.
It might
Can
be
you
great
send
if
it
you
to
could
Brett?
send it
Then send it
to
to me.
everybody on the
And I will send
commission.
it to you, yeah.
And then we can also
Yeah,
just
send
like put
it
on
to
our own
everybody.
pages, like, to let people know. To go to.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll send it to you guys once it's done, before I send it to anyone else.
we have it's a basic template for the Friday page based on characters and such, so I would get that and format it and send it to the Times.
But there are words,
I can find out, I don't know,
okay.
but it's usually no more than probably 5 sentences in a paragraph.
Okay.
Last thing on the nomination form is, Chief Ellis is gonna talk to Dr. Peoples about getting access to the nominations as they come in. We have to figure out how to route those emails. And that's the final piece of the technology of that process.
And my Thursday meetings with so Dr. Peoples, so I'll clarify that, just so I understand the process of another email I'm responsible for, how that's gonna work. So
I would also recommend that, not to clutter this, but it's sort of a fun thing. If we have a QR code for the fundraiser, maybe to also mention, and the nominations on this, like if we're asking people for money, you also, what do people think about that?
We
I
could
could
do
understand
a-
it being cluttering, but it could also be a fun thing to have in addition to.
We could, we'll do a link tree, so we QR code to a page that has fundraiser, nominations, it has kind of all of our stuff in one place if we wanted, we'll put that together.
And people were setting this too, I'd rather not clutter it,
Okay.
just because the Webster Arts hopefully will get
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 that information.
that information
It's two
separately.
different. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's already, even looking at another part, it's a lot, which is why I think we really need those
Right.
notes.
Okay.
I would add, I think if that's on there, it suggests, it sort of takes a bit away from the time sensitivity. I mean, we want people to
Right.
react to this card, not just see it as a resource and, oh, it's something I'll refer to. Should I decide to make a donation someday, if that's there.
Sure.
Yeah, we thought about putting in, the sooner you donate, the sooner we can get signed up, but we thought that might be a little crass. Anything else on the achievement in the arts? We're gonna talk after this meeting about, whoever wants to get together to talk about how we sort through any nominations we get, but we thought we'd do that after we adjourn, so we don't keep people here longer. Roundtable discussions, we met, about the roundtable discussions. And we talked about just starting with business districts. Finding out what, you know, they're the groups that have the resources, that have the space that you might want to put public art in. So we wanted to talk to the business liaisons, and then see if after speaking with them, see if they wanted to meet with each group separately, or whether they would want the business districts to meet together. So whether we have each one, we were thinking we could do breakfast meetings. Because that's, they don't open until 10, and that's when their liaison meetings are. So I just wanted to find out from everybody if that sounds like a good start. It's starting with business districts. Well, as soon as the commission decides that, yes, let's start with the business districts, I will contact the business districts, the liaison for each, and see when they may be able to, what they may be open to. And then we can get started with that, but it'd be great to be starting with that this summer.
Is there going to be like, I think at one point it was mentioned about where to hold these and like space, and also like, do we need like the late breakfast or something, and does that affect budgeting for?
We got some dates, we can start figuring them out. So there's not a lot going on in the university space.
I was gonna say Swerdrup has
Yeah.
a nice space, and then they have the galleries upstairs too, so.
So. I'd say.
Once we get a sense of dates, then we do that.
So does that sound like a good start, to just start with business districts and see if they want to meet, and then again, have it eat breakfast or light donuts and coffee.
But the earliest would be this summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is basically.
Yeah.
Just
around
right
around.
Anything else on that?
Does the fiscal year, is it in June 30th? Is that the end? Okay, so that as of July, we'll be spending new budget numbers for it. So what we're contributing to the sign is current budget. And so then whatever we got from the city will be refreshed.
The last June meeting, the last council meeting in June is the official approval of the budget.
The donuts and coffee. Not at all. Okay, community updates. Does anybody have any community updates? Opera Theater is starting at the end of this month, starting May 24th. And it's a pretty great festival. Over on the grounds of West University and the railroad. Any others?
And I thought Sherwood, it was amazing. Costumes were gorgeous.
They were
Sherwood, yeah. My kids loved it. They loved it so much.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was really, really fun.
And congratulations on your theater circle award.
Oh, wow.
That's fun.
Thanks.
That wasn't that?
Yeah.
Yeah. She won
for
Best
last
costume
year.
for Shakespeare Festival.
Wow.
Wonderful. Yes.
Yay.
Thanks, everybody. It's fun stuff.
Any other community updates? How about city updates?
Not much. We have obviously we're working through the budget and hopefully we will finalize it by June 1st. Other than that, the comprehensive plan, which is obviously going to incorporate the arts, is probably going to be finalized this summer. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. That way you can provide feedback on any final plan. Obviously, the arts is an important part of Webster Groves, and I think that it's going to be an important part of the comprehensive plan as we move forward.
You know, David, I do have a question, and I don't have it as an other, but knowing that the comprehensive plan is coming out, and I've seen a number of emails go back and forth with people about the outdoor performance space. Some people saying, do we need that? Would we be better off having mobile stages, etc.? Don't know where you guys stand with that. Don't know whether this is something that we should be also making recommendations on and talking with different groups, especially as we do our roundtable discussions.
Yeah, Janice, I think that's a great idea to get some input on that because I think as of right now, council hasn't made it a final decision on whether we would go forward with an outdoor theater. I think obviously that is something that will be discussed as we decide how to finalize spending of the bond issue or the Prop W money. I think the objective was to get the pool done, which the pool will be done, knock on wood, by Memorial Day and open. But other than that, obviously that's a huge expense from the Prop W. And the question is, do we want to go forward? I know there are several members on council that wanted to see that, and then there are, I think, some that are a little bit more hesitant. So as you go through and talk to the community members, I think getting input and feedback on that would be excellent.
And what is your timetable on making that decision?
There's no concrete timetable, at least to the best of my knowledge, but I will confirm that. I think right now, when we had the Public Works, not Public Works, I'm sorry, the Parks and Rec and Public Works submit their budgets. It's obviously a long plan. It's in our park improvement plan several years down the line. But we haven't even touched the surface of trying to get estimates or figuring out where or how it would happen. So it's several years down the line at this point.
Okay, so that as we do our roundtable discussions and really form better relationships with the different groups in town, that'd be something that would be worth bringing up and following.
Absolutely. And I would love to hear from this commission too, whether they think it's worthwhile. And especially, you know, there's very limited places in Webster Groves I think we could put something like this too. And I think Memorial Park is obviously the most fitting, it seems like. But if you guys have other ideas of where it could potentially go, I think that council would be open to hearing those too.
I'm sorry, I was typing. So you're saying outdoor theater at Memorial Park, like where the drainage area is?
It would be
Like
right behind the tennis courts. Right behind the tennis courts, and it would like butt up against the edge of the slides of the pool effectively. That's the initial plan, and that's how it was presented during the Prop W. That doesn't mean that it's set in stone or anything, but I think that when you think about parking and access, especially handicap access, that was a location that we thought, oh, this could potentially work. Now, the problem is it takes away from our parks, from soccer and baseball potentially. And the question is, can we offset that somewhere else in the city of Webster Groves, or can the park go someplace, or could an outdoor theater go someplace else?
So David, when it was put into the plans, did y'all have some background on how often it'd be used and all that you could share with us as well?
Unfortunately not. I mean, that's something that I think that we're all trying to figure out here, right? Because it's going to take staff time as well in order to man the place or man the facility. Yeah. It will be evenings. And then the question is, are we taking away from the other things that are already going on in Webster Groves? So for instance, with Jazz Festival or something like that, move from where it currently is to Memorial Park. And we don't necessarily want to do that either, where we take away from the business districts. So all of those questions are percolating right now, and as we try to figure out, is this something that the citizens of Webster Groves want, and also is it achievable in Webster Groves for what our end game is? You know, I really like Kirkwood's. I think Kirkwood's is a good example. But I'm probably one of those that is a little bit more hesitant whether it's worth spending the money to go forward with this as of right now, unless we get a little bit more concrete ideas of what we would do there, how we would fund it on a yearly basis, how many staff employees it would take to do it. And then also, like, I mean, would the other events move to this instead of being in Old Webster or Old Orchard and take away from the business districts?
So was having a mobile stage ever part of your discussions, or is that with?
I haven't heard that before. That's a good idea. I like that idea. I think that's a innovative concept. So I'll definitely bring that up. So I don't know exactly how a mobile stage would work. Would it obviously be on the flatbed of a truck or something and it can move from location?
Yeah, it would need to be stored, but you know what, I don't know how much they spend for Jazz Fest for a mobile stage. They went to mobile stage for Webster Arts, and again, I'm going to bring that because I've seen some emails go back and forth from the people who are involved saying what makes sense.
Yeah.
I believe that Patrick and Dave Buck were talking about it because they do, I believe Jazz Fest rents it from Brentwood, is that right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's also a moneymaker. If you're not using it, you can rent it to other cities or organizations.
That sounds great.
But I mean, it's the kind of thing where even on like the holiday walk, you could close off that, you know, you could have a mobile stage with carolers and close off that whole thing. So it really could be a benefit to the business districts in a lot of ways to have more events and bring people in. So I really like that idea more than taking space from the parks.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I will definitely look into that and bring that up. I haven't heard of that before and I've never thought about it. So I appreciate you guys raising it.
Anything else we need to discuss? All right, well, anything else? You have a motion to adjourn. And second. Seconded, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you very much.